This episode discusses violence against women, stalking, coercive control and homicide. While the events described are based on coronial findings and verified reporting, the subject matter may be distressing. Listener discretion is advised. October 25th, 2023. Sydney was settling into a late afternoon like any other. The city's pulse slowed as people finished work and made plans for the evening. Inside the central business district, students were wrapping up classes, teachers were packing their bags, and within the walls of St Andrew's Cathedral School, a young woman walked purposefully down the hallway. She carried the ease of someone who knew this place well. Her steps were light, her mind likely occupied with the day's work. Her name was Lilie James. She was 21 years old. She was confident, athletic, loved by students and trusted by colleagues. At that moment, she was unaware that within the same building, something terrible was about to happen. Within the next hour, her life would be taken. And the person who would do it was someone she had known, someone she had dated briefly, someone she had trusted. Later, a call would be made to emergency services. The caller, calm, matter of fact, would tell the operator there was a body inside a school bathroom. He wouldn't say who he was. He wouldn't identify himself. But he knew exactly where the body was. This was the beginning of one of the most shocking crimes Sydney had seen in years. This is the story of Lilie James. Before we talk about what happened on October 25th, we need to know who Lilie was. Because in too many stories like this, the focus becomes about violence, the tragedy, the crime. But Lilie was a person with a life that mattered, a life full of promise. Lilie was born on May 21st, 2002 in Sydney, Australia. She grew up in a loving household, raised by her parents Jamie and Peter, alongside her younger brother Max. Her family described a close bond, weekends filled with sport, laughter, routine that felt comforting and reliable. Lilie was someone who made friends easily, not because she tried hard, but because she had the warmth about her that naturally drew people in. She had a ready smile, a sense of ease with others. She was the sort of person who would walk into a room and light it up. Friends remembered her as social, outgoing and involved, someone who made connections. And connections mattered to her. Sport was a central thread throughout her life. From as early as school, she threw herself into every team she could. She played netball with passion. She threw herself into water polo. She danced, she moved, she competed, she coached. Sport was not just a hobby for Lilie, it was a part of who she was. Lilie attended Dane Bank Anglican School for Girls, where she graduated in 2020. She was known for her energy, her leadership, and her encouragement. After graduating, she didn't lose that connection to sport. She enrolled in the University of Technology, Sydney. She was studying a Bachelor of Sports Management, a degree that allowed her to turn her passions into a future career. Alongside her university studies, she found work as a sports assistant at St Andrew's Cathedral School. Beginning in January 2023, Lilie worked full-time in a role that involved coordinating sporting programs for students, setting up equipment, supporting teachers and coaching teams. She often worked long hours, arriving before school started and staying late for training sessions or weekend games. Her colleagues described her as reliable, enthusiastic and kind. The students liked her. Teachers respected her. And parents trusted her. She built friendships across multiple worlds: school, sport, university, social circles, and in almost every description of her, the same words appear again and again: confident, friendly, caring, empathetic. She was someone who brought people together, someone who laughed easily, someone who cared deeply. And there was a future in front of her, a life filled with possibility. But what happened next would make that life end far too soon. To understand what happened on October 25th, we must also understand who the person responsible was. His name was Paul Thijssen. He was born in the Netherlands in 1999, the only child of his parents Esther and Stefan. In 2015, when he was about 15, his family relocated to Sydney. His father's work had brought them to Australia. Paul enrolled at the same school where Lilie would later teach, St Andrew's Cathedral School. He started in Year 10. By most accounts, he integrated well. He played sport, he participated, and eventually became sports captain, a position that marked him as someone trusted, respected, and visible within the school community. Sport seemed central to his identity, not just a pastime, but how he defined himself. After finishing school in 2018, Paul remained connected to the school community. He worked for a period as a sport assistant, similar to the role that Lilie would later take. In many ways, it was a familiar environment for him. Later that year, he returned to the Netherlands and began studying a bachelor degree in business economics at university, but he didn't stay overseas permanently. In early 2020, he was back in Sydney working again at St Andrew's Cathedral School in the sports department. During the pandemic, his role shifted, at times working with outdoor education programs, but he remained connected. He continued to live in Sydney, moving between shared housing in suburbs like Zetland and later Kensington. By 2023, both Lilie and Paul were working in the same department. And though they were colleagues at first, their lives would eventually intersect in a way neither could have predicted. Lilie and Paul worked in the same sporting spaces. They saw each other regularly. They interacted casually at first, the sort of familiarity that comes from working closely with others day in and day out. Shared interests, shared routines, shared colleagues. Eventually, their interactions deepened socially. They began spending time together outside of work. They attended gatherings, events, parties, social functions with friends. And over time, this social contact turned into something more. Their relationship became romantic. But it didn't last long. By all accounts from friends and people who knew them, it was a brief relationship. A connection that developed quickly, but just as quickly it lost its intensity. For Lilie, the relationship never became something deeply serious. It was something casual, something she didn't see as part of her future. And by October 2023, she had decided to end it. From her perspective, it simply wasn't working. There was nothing dramatic about the breakup from her point of view. It was just the end of something that hadn't lasted. But for Paul, he experienced the breakup very differently. And in the days that followed, his behaviour began to shift. After the relationship ended, Paul didn't accept it easily. What seemed like a straightforward breakup to Lilie triggered a series of concerning behaviours from Paul. In the days after they parted ways, evidence later revealed Paul began trying to maintain contact. Not casually, not at a normal post-breakup level, but in ways that others would later describe as obsessive and controlling. Investigators identified several patterns, behaviours that are now recognised in research on coercive control and stalking that appeared in his actions. One example involved social media. Paul created a fake Snapchat account pretending to be another woman. Lilie didn't recognise the name, but she saw the account was connected to Paul. She later asked him about this account, and he claimed that he himself was being stalked. It was a confusing tactic, but psychologists who later analysed the behaviour explained why someone might do that. Because it creates sympathy. It creates drama. And most importantly, it creates a reason for continued contact. Even when one person, in this case Lilie, had made it clear they wanted to move on. Another disturbing element involved an intimate photograph that Lilie had sent Paul during their relationship. After the breakup, Paul shared that image with several of his friends without Lilie's permission. This is now referred to as image-based abuse, a form of intimidation and violation that experts increasingly recognise as a form of domestic violence. It's an act that violates privacy, that seeks shame, that at its core sends a message of power, not respect. And then there was the tracking. Technology today makes it easier than ever to monitor someone's movements. Location sharing, Snapchat maps, social media check-ins, even subtle surveillance. But it was later revealed that in the days after the breakup, Paul had been tracking Lilie's movements, watching where she went, where she socialised, where she spent her evenings. Not by accident, with intent. And as patterns of behaviour, these actions fall into what domestic violence specialists describe as intimate partner stalking. Because stalking is not always dramatic. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's obsessive monitoring. And sometimes the person being stalked never fully realises what's happening until much later. But for the person doing the watching, it creates a sense of control. And for someone struggling with rejection, that sense of perceived control can become psychologically significant. After the breakup, Lilie continued with her normal routines. She went to work, she studied, she spent time with friends. She had responsibilities, a life that felt familiar and safe. To everyone around her, nothing outwardly seemed disturbed or unusual. But in the background, something had shifted. In the days following the breakup, Paul's behaviour became increasingly concerning. Investigators later discovered that in the span of just a few days, Paul had physically followed Lilie on multiple occasions. At least 7 separate times, according to digital tracking evidence that was presented at the coronial inquest. He appeared in places that she had been. He appeared close to events that she attended. He was at locations that she visited after work. More than a coincidence. More than a chance. This was intentional. Stalking often shows up in ways that are not subtle, not dramatic or cinematic like in the movies. It can look like someone showing up in places where they shouldn't be, or checking movements instead of communicating directly, monitoring social interactions, and following routines. In this case, investigators determined that Paul had been doing exactly that. He was tracking Lilie's movements. He was observing her. And he was doing so repeatedly. This kind of behaviour reflects what domestic violence researchers now recognise as intimate partner stalking, a type of behaviour that in many cases precedes violence. None of these stalking behaviours were reported to the police at the time, and that's not uncommon, because stalking can be difficult to prove. It can be easily dismissed as coincidence, hidden inside normal social interactions. And for the person being watched, you rarely know the full extent of what's happening. But from the outside, investigators later concluded that there were patterns. Patterns that suggested escalation. Patterns that suggested distress. Patterns that suggested an emotional state that was beginning to spiral. That last Wednesday of October began like any normal school day. The city was busy. The air was warm with an early hint of summer. At St Andrew's Cathedral School, students arrived for classes. Teachers prepared lessons. Sport programs ran through the morning. For most people inside the building, it was just another ordinary day. At 3:30 that afternoon, Lilie left the school on a bus for water polo training. The bus returned to the school just after 7 p.m. She was doing the job that she had done for months. Everything about her routine that day was familiar. Meanwhile, Paul was also on campus. He had arrived earlier in the afternoon, exactly when he brought a hammer with him. Investigators later established this was something he did at the start of the day. He had carried it into the building like he carried any other item. But as the hours unfolded, his actions began to reflect something far more dangerous. At first glance, Paul's movements didn't stand out. He walked through hallways. He entered rooms, moving between different areas of the sports facilities. But when detectives reviewed the footage closely, a disturbing pattern emerged. Paul entered multiple bathrooms inside the school building, one after another. Sometimes staying only briefly, sometimes returning again, looking around, testing doors, checking whether they could be locked. This behaviour, moving through multiple bathrooms, looking at the doors, spending time inside them was later described at the coronial inquest as dry runs. He was practicing, rehearsing, making sure he was prepared. He placed a cleaning sign outside one of the bathrooms to ensure that Lilie would not go into that bathroom. Investigators noticed that in several of those movements, Paul was already carrying the hammer that he had brought with him. This was not a random object. It was not something that he found on the spot. It was deliberate. The presence of the hammer, paired with the repeated bathroom checks, suggest a degree of premeditation. While this was unfolding in the background, Lilie went about her normal routine. She was working. She was helping students. There was nothing in her behaviour that suggested she was in immediate danger. She was inside a building that she knew well, a place that she had walked through countless times, a place she felt comfortable. But in that same building, someone was preparing for something catastrophic. Lilie's phone had made a 2-second call to Paul's phone at 7:11 p.m. Paul immediately walked to the foyer area. Lilie entered the gymnasium area, the part of the building where the sports department was located. Inside that area were a series of staff rooms, offices, and bathrooms. Paul had met Lilie in the foyer area and started walking with her to the staff room. Exactly how the final encounter began can't be seen on camera. 17 seconds later, security footage captured Lilie walking towards one of the bathrooms. Shortly after, Paul followed. At 7:14 p.m, CCTV shows Paul entering the bathroom with a hammer. The cameras could no longer see what happened next. What followed could only be reconstructed later through forensic evidence. Inside that bathroom, Paul Thijssen attacked Lilie with the hammer. The assault was brutal. The post-mortem examination later revealed that Lilie had sustained multiple blunt force injuries to her head and neck. Investigators determined that she was struck more than 25 times. This level of violence, when the force used far exceeds what would be necessary to cause death, is sometimes referred to in forensic terms as overkill. It can suggest intense emotional states such as rage, loss of control, or perceived humiliation. During the forensic examination, investigators also identified injuries on Lilie's arms and hands. These injuries were consistent with defensive wounds, marks left when a person tries to protect themselves from a violent attack. They show that Lilie did not go quietly. She tried to fight back. She tried to protect herself. But the weapon was heavy. The attack was sudden, and in that enclosed space, she couldn't escape. Inside the bathroom at St Andrew's Cathedral School, the life of Lilie James ended. She was 21 years old. What happened next shocked investigators. Instead of immediately leaving the building, Paul remained inside the bathroom with Lilie's body for over an hour. Investigators later determined that during this time he had access to Lilie's phone. At 8:23 p.m, he began sending messages from her phone. One of the text messages was sent to her father. The message appeared to be from Lilie. It asked him to come and pick her up. At the time, her family had no idea what had occurred. They believed that they were communicating with her, trying to understand where she was, trying to reach her. But those messages did not come from Lilie. They came from the man who had just taken her life. When the truth later came out, her family said the messages caused immense confusion and distress. Because even after the attack, they believed she was alive and well, trying to communicate, trying to reach out. But it wasn't her. It was Paul. And he was already long gone from that bathroom when her father eventually realised that something was wrong. Security cameras captured him exiting the school building. He walked out calmly. No one inside the campus knew what had just occurred. Staff were unaware. Everything outside looked ordinary. But inside that bathroom, a life had been taken, and the perpetrator was now walking away. After leaving St Andrew's Cathedral School, Paul travelled across Sydney to the coastline. He arrived near Diamond Bay Reserve, a scenic lookout in the eastern suburbs known for dramatic cliffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It's a place many people visit for walking tracks, ocean views, sunrise and sunset, a breathtaking landscape. Around 11:45 p.m, Paul made a call to emergency services. He dialed and spoke with an operator.
Police, go ahead, Telstra. 307749. Thank you, Police Emergency. This is Katrina.
Hi, Katrina. I would like to report a body in St Andrew's Cathedral School in Sydney CBD.
Sorry, you'd like to report...
A body murder.
Sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
So, there's a body that in St Andrew's Cathedral School in Sydney CBD.
St Andrew's Cathedral School?
Yeah.
What's the address there?
474 Kent Street.
474 Kent Street in Sydney. What's the closest corner street there to St Andrew's Cathedral School?
That's it.
474 Kent Street, Sydney, because of Baptist Street?
Yeah.
All right, so St Andrew's Cathedral School, 474 Kent Street, Sydney, across the Baptist Street. Now, you're not there at the moment?
I am not known.
Okay, what's going on there?
If you go into the school, there is a entrance in the left of the reception area. There's a sports department. There's a bathroom on the right-hand side where there is a body.
A body?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a body in a bathroom on the right-hand side of what?
When you go into the sports area, which is when you enter the school through the reception on the left, and the bathrooms then on the right in the sports area. It's the first door in the right.
And so it's inside?
Yeah, so you have to go through reception to the left.
When were you there?
Can't remember.
Sorry?
I don't remember.
What do you mean you don't remember when you were there?
I don't remember what time it was.
So how long ago were you there?
Couple of hours.
Is it male or female?
A female.
Sorry?
Female?
Female? You know who it is?
No,
What's your name?
I was rather not disclosed.
Okay, so
But
are
I
you
think
are you are you in a house or on the street?
rather, I think someone could just go in there before people arrive in the morning.
In a calm and matter-of-fact tone, he told the operator that there was a body inside the school bathroom. He did not provide his name. He did not explain what had happened. He simply said someone should check the location before staff arrived the next morning. That call only lasted a short time, and as soon as it ended, it would become the place where Paul's life would also end. Security cameras captured him getting out of his car and walking towards the cliff edge. Shortly after, he went over the cliff. Investigators later concluded he had jumped intentionally, ending his own life. Police would later recover items believed to belong to him near the cliff edge: a backpack, clothing, and a phone. His body was found in the water 2 days later. Meanwhile, back in Sydney, police responded to the information from the emergency call. Officers attended St Andrew's Cathedral School. Lilie's dad Jamie was already there searching for her after she didn't answer his phone calls. Officers told him that they had received a call. They located the bathroom referenced by the caller. Inside that room, they found the body of Lilie James. The discovery sent shockwaves throughout the school community. Lilie's dad was notified, and then he had to break the heartbreaking news to Peter and Max. Students were told not to attend class. Staff were informed of the tragedy, and the news began spreading across Australia. A young woman had been killed inside a school by someone she had known, someone she had briefly dated, someone who worked in the same building and who had planned the attack. After police discovered Lilie's body inside St Andrew's Cathedral School bathroom, the scene was secured immediately. Forensic teams arrived to document every detail. The school was locked down. CCTV footage was preserved, and all items inside the bathroom were photographed and collected. Investigators began the painstaking process of reconstructing the events. Because the perpetrator had left the building calmly and driven away, there were no witnesses to the actual attack. This made the role of evidence even more crucial. Post-mortem reports confirmed the cause of death: blunt force trauma to the head and neck. Investigators later noticed the multiple injuries consistent with a hammer being used repeatedly, confirming this was not a spontaneous act, but a deliberate, premeditated attack. Defensive injuries on Lilie's arms and hands confirmed she had struggled to protect herself. Detectives worked to establish the exact timeline of events. They reviewed CCTV footage, phone records, and witness interviews. They confirmed that Paul Thijssen had arrived at the school earlier in the day. He carried a hammer with him throughout the afternoon. He entered multiple bathrooms. Lilie and Paul were last seen walking together toward the staff room. The assault occurred soon after that. Paul left the school undetected. He drove to the cliffs. He made the anonymous emergency service call and took his own life. By piecing this together, investigators could establish preparation, intent, and planning, despite there being no eyewitnesses to the attack. Phone records played a crucial role in understanding Paul's behaviour leading up to the murder. There had been multiple calls and messages to Lilie in the days prior, many of which were unwanted. There had been tracking of Lilie's movements based on social media updates, and there was evidence of surveillance at locations she frequented. Experts later described this as technology-facilitated stalking, a modern form of coercive control that often escalates to physical violence. All this reinforced the conclusion that this was a targeted and deliberate act of violence. Because Paul Thijssen died before police could arrest or charge him, there was no criminal trial. Instead, the matter was heard at a coronial inquest in New South Wales. Witnesses included staff, police investigators, forensic experts, and family and friends. In the coronial inquest, the judge highlighted that Paul had checked where Lilie had been in real time, monitoring her routines, planning the attack around her schedule. The inquest concluded that Paul intentionally killed Lilie in the school bathroom. There was evidence of stalking and coercive control. The attack was premeditated, as demonstrated by his planning and dry runs. Lilie had no opportunity to escape or defend herself. Paul's subsequent suicide ended any possibility of a criminal prosecution. The findings emphasised the importance of recognising early warning signs in intimate partner violence. While the legal system could not prosecute Paul, the findings served as an official record of responsibility and helped the family to seek closure. In the days following Lilie's death, St Andrew's Cathedral School faced an enormous emotional and logistical challenge. Students were traumatised by learning what had happened in their school. Counselling services were brought in for staff and students. The school conducted internal reviews of security procedures, including bathroom access and visitor management. Classes continued, but there was a pervasive sense of grief and shock. Staff reported struggling with feelings of guilt for not noticing warning signs or controlling behaviours. Parents were notified immediately, and the school held meetings to discuss safety measures and provide reassurance. However, the incident left lasting anxiety within the community. Media coverage also highlighted the broader issue of violence against young women, especially in the context of intimate relationships. Domestic violence specialists emphasised the danger of stalking and coercive control, the risk of escalation when breakup occurs, and the need for early intervention and support. While no legal punishment could be applied to Paul Thijssen, the case is being studied to identify stalking patterns before escalation, to recognise warning signs in intimate relationships, to improve school safety and staff awareness, and understand the role of technology in modern domestic violence. Experts advocate for education on warning signs for young people, for training in workplaces and schools, and encouraging reporting of suspicious or controlling behaviours. This tragedy also highlighted how quick, seemingly subtle changes in behaviour can be indicators of serious risks. Lilie James was a young woman with her whole life ahead of her. She worked with children, pursued her career, and had family and friends who loved her. Her death shocked a community and forced reflection on issues of intimate partner violence, stalking, and safety in public spaces. While the perpetrator took his own life and therefore avoided justice, her story continues to inform safety protocols, awareness campaigns, and conversations about preventing future tragedies in the future. Lilie's family were devastated. The suddenness of her death and the fact that the perpetrator had taken his own life complicated their grief. During the coronial inquest, the family shared their struggle to understand why this had happened. The frustration over the lack of legal recourse due to Paul's suicide, and their hope that Lilie's story could prevent similar tragedies. In interviews, they emphasised that Lilie should be remembered for her life, not only the circumstances of her death. They highlighted her warmth, ambition, and dedication to helping others. The case received widespread attention in Australian media. Commentators and experts repeatedly warned that many cases of domestic violence start with subtle forms of control or obsession. Breakups or rejection can trigger escalation. Early intervention and awareness are critical. Media coverage also prompted schools nationwide to review student safety protocols, particularly in areas such as unsupervised spaces like bathrooms or locker rooms, visitor management systems, staff training in recognising signs of concern. This case became a reference point in discussions about domestic violence and intimate partner homicide in Australia. Digital surveillance and tracking can escalate risk and must be recognised as a form of abuse. Prevention requires education, both for young people and for institutions like schools. Victims often show warning signs such as repeated unwanted contact, anxiety, or fear of a partner. Community support systems must be accessible to intervene before escalation. Domestic violence advocates point out that tragedies like Lilie's are preventable in many cases if warning signs are taken seriously. Though her life was cut tragically short, Lilie's story has had lasting effects. Family, friends, and the broader community continue to honour her memory by sharing her story responsibly. The coronial inquest and subsequent reporting emphasised that remembering Lilie means learning from what happened, not simply recounting the tragedy. Lilie James was a young woman with a vibrant life and strong community ties. She had friends, ambitions, and a future that was never realised. Her death is a stark reminder that violence can escalate quickly when early warning signs are ignored. Institutions, families, and peers play a crucial role in prevention. Awareness, education, and vigilance can save lives. By documenting the facts carefully and examining systemic implications, her story continues to serve both as a cautionary tale and a call to action. In the quiet spaces of schools, communities, and families, Lilie's story urges vigilance, compassion, and changes. Thank you for listening to Coffee and Crime AU. Real stories, real people. Next episode out next Tuesday.